Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
Game resumed.
More Collegiate Star League action here. And it is going to be the 2 vs 2 matchup. So we'll intro the players here, 2x2 in this form. From University of California, Irvine, we have our Zerg and Terran players, Kaspada and Monkey Saga.
And in the top right position, playing for University of Washington, we have the 2v2 team of Megumi X Gom and Huangpo. Another TZ. So we do have a mirror matchup here. It's all tied up 1-1 Doom. And that means, you know, the 2v2 has much more weight to it. You know, I mean, obviously if you're down 2-0, you know, you really got to win basically. But, you know, when it's 1-1, it really puts that weight where it's like, you know, it'll put that extra swing into the things and help your team sort of lock it up for that 1v1.
Yeah, you build the momentum. You
right.
Build that momentum, and from there you can pretty much just, you know, try to take the torch and run with it for victory. And 2 vs 2, man, I have a feeling things are going to get pretty wild here. Not only from the observing perspective, but just from us trying to cover all the action going on the map. I know that 2v2 is rife with cheese. I'm just curious what type of cheese we will be seeing here in this game.
Yeah, and on this map, it's not one of those maps that gives you, you know, sort of those gimme naturals, or, you know, even one of those. You know, there's some maps that have one, then, you know, you let the Zerg player take it. Something along the lines of that. But in this case, if you look at the, you know, the first natural that you're allowed to take, very, very wide open. The one thing working in the advantage of somebody who wants to play a little bit more macro-based is just the raw distance. I mean, they're spawning cross, and that is a long walk distance from base to base there.
Oh yeah, and considering you could have spawned directly to the left or right of your opponent in this situation.
Which has happened in CSL.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have got to be just wiping their brows, thinking, okay, we're safe for the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you spawn that close, literally any strategy could work. I mean, if it catches you off guard, you have 10 to 20 seconds to sort of react to it, because, I mean, to scout it is going to be difficult, and then it's pretty much on your front door as soon as you see it. So any kind of air-based play, ground-based cheese, is all going to be effective. And we have seen that so far on this map. But with these distances, it's going to be nice. Relatively similar openers coming. If you look at that production tab, Doom, it just kind of lines up. You know, it just kind of makes sense. So basically, both these teams just playing relatively conservative. Going to be doing some Ling Hellion, trying to control that map.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like Monkey Saga did go for a much faster factory than his Terran counterpart here, and I think he actually went for the factory before going for the orbital command, so this has enabled him to drop down that reactor Hellions insanely quick here, and I'm really curious to see if Kaspada is going to actually use this hatchery down here at the, I guess we'll call it the natural, for, you know, mining, or if he's going to use it basically just to pump units and send them across the field. He has realized that Huangpo on the other side has tried to go for a hatchery as well, but there simply isn't enough to really respond to this. Only 3 Marines here, and could potentially get surrounded.
Yeah, it's very, very close right now. Kaspada really wants to force a cancel. There goes Speed, and Speed also finishes, of course, the exact same time for Huangpo, so of course, extremely important to get that speed right away, otherwise it's at a massive disadvantage. Here come the Hellions, though, and this is where it gets a little bit dicey, and this is where, like you were saying, that very early factory timing is going to be coming into play here. They really want to force this cancel on this hatchery. It would just be such a big advantage, but so far, I have to say, well played by Huangpo and his teammate here.
He's going to have to do his best to keep those Lings alive, splitting them up to some degrees here. 4 Hellions are now on the field, though, and this could get really, really dicey in a second. Oh, Huangpo's got to be so careful with those Lings, as, you know, Kaspada's pretty much just trying to run by. If he could actually get a surround on the rest of the Terran army, this could set up a good situation for these Hellions, but posturing back and forth, both of these teams are trying to do as much damage as possible, but it looks like our orange and green players are coming out on top.
This is so close right now, Doom. I'm just watching in awe, because I don't want to call it one way or the other just yet. Literally every single volley and every single unit is counting right now, but it looks like they are going to hold on to this hatchery just barely. Yeah. You know, that earlier factory timing allowed them to put on this aggression, but you know, the fact that Megumi X Gom wasn't too far behind allowed him to catch back up. You know, his rallies are, of course, right outside the base, whereas you know, Monkey Saga's got to wait for him to go all the way across the map, and that's where the cross spawns are really coming into play here.
Absolutely, that's certainly a huge factor in these engagements. And you know, looking back at what each of these players are doing here, our Terran player Megamix Gom is actually going for a command center in the base. Meanwhile, Monkey Saga is actually going for Stim, so it looks like he wants to continue to put on the aggression. Well, actually, as I said, that he drops down the command center at the front. But
yeah, just a little bit more delayed, but it looks like, you know, Monkey Saga for sure going to be transitioning into bio, and it looks like same deal for Gom, but he's actually going for concussive shells first, which I find just fascinating right now. I'm completely enthralled. If he does some sort of Marauder timing without Stim but with concussive, that would just be awesome.
You know, a big problem I could see with that would be the Lings. You know, if you try to go for Marauders and Lings get around you, you're pretty much dead in that situation. But
yeah, maybe expecting a Roach transition, or maybe wanting to crush the Hellions of Monkey Saga. I'm not sure. We'll have to see if that was, you know, potentially a misclick, or if he really wanted to get a super quick concussive there. We do see Huangpo now droning up here, and so is Kespada. If you look at both of their naturals, they look relatively similar in terms of drone counts. And in terms of the production tab of the Terran players, there we go. Stim does start up now for Gom. And yeah, it looks like, you know, just some standard bio as well. So pretty much stabilized after a very hectic and pretty awesome early game.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of aggression there. Neither team really able to do as much damage as they potentially wanted to there. It certainly looked like our red team wanted to get a lot of economic damage there early on in these stages of the game, but as they are progressing forward, the Spire is going to be a choice from Kespada here. It is going to be Mutalist on the field, and on the other side, the Zerg player Huangpo has gone for Roaches, so staying on the ground, it's going to be really reliant on his teammate to go for a very critical mass of Marines here, and as he's adding on those reactors to the barracks, you know, going for his Stim a little bit later, eventually he'll be okay, but he's going to be at a disadvantage to the Terran player who already has Stim in Monkey Saga. So
yeah, and I just love the overall style of Monkey Saga right now, getting those Hellions out in the middle and now having some Widow Mines to supplement. Just so smart. I mean, getting those helps Ling run-bys immensely, and just helps general vision, general map control. So really good stuff, but you know, as a trade-off, Megumi's bio army just looks a little bit beefier right now, so
do see a drop moving back here from Monkey Saga into the base of Megamix Gom. He's going to boost in. He's got these Marines with Stim, and this is a huge advantage in this situation. Marines without medevacs, Marines without Stim. I mean, a huge swell of Lings is going to push in forward here, and this should be able to force a lift off. It does. But he's going to get huge scouting information here, seeing the fact that the engineering bay is spinning, you know, seeing the entire tech of the Zerg player who doesn't have a Spire anywhere, you know, in the main base.
Yeah, so he's going to boost out. That Spore Crawler is not going to finish the job, but these Queens bite. No, he does. He saves the medevac, which is worth noting. Will he actually? This is the...
Gonna continue to posture.
He put it back. I will say, though, Kespada does have 10 Mutalisks out, and they are flying across the map. What do they have in preparation? No Widow Mines, of course. No turrets at all. I mean, this is pretty rough. These Mutalisks are going to do so much damage.
Fortunately, he does have an Overlord to at least see the fact that the Mutalisks are now going to move in. Turns back for a second there to kill off that Overlord. But the turrets are definitely going to go down here. There is basically too many Marauders on the field for our Terran player Megamix Gom to actually deal with this. I mean, sure, he's got a couple of Marines here, sure, he's got Stim, but he doesn't actually have the medevac count to heal these units back up once they do decide to Stim. So this is going to be very crucial here for Megamix to decide when to Stim and really making it as effective as possible.
Yeah, these Mutalisks have just, I feel like, caught University of Washington a little bit with their pants down. They just, it didn't seem like they were really prepped for them at all. It's kind of unfortunate. Turrets would have been so useful, but in this case, Kespada just kind of tearing through here.
Look at that.
And now this base even has no turrets. Man, that feeling when you throw down turrets right when the Mutalisks are right there, it's like, you know it's not going to work, but you do it anyway. Hellions now in the mid-left, kind of roasting up some drones over here. So University of Washington fighting back just a bit here. Lings are going to get completely roasted here. Great positioning from Megumi X. So they are fighting back, but the question is, have these Mutalisks done a little too much damage?
I think they have. You know, it looked like Huang Po tried to run in with a swell of roaches to the second base of Monkey Saga, but that was deflected as well. And now the Mutalisks are going to continue to rule the day, moving back in at the expansion for Mega Mix Gom. I mean, their Terran player has literally not gotten any like economy going in this game whatsoever. He's been confined to one base, and you can really see it in the army count, in the unit counts here. Only 26 SEVs for our blue Terran player compared to the 59 of our red Terran player.
Yeah, I mean, look at Monkey Saga just nomming up this base in the bottom center. It's just so juicy right now. Fully saturated, 24 out of 24, and dropping mules. So Monkey Saga is just feeling very comfortable right now. He's doing a great bio Widowmine style overall, just so strong.
This actually forced Hydralisk out from Huang Po, and I mean, considering the fact that there are so many Marines on the field with medevac support, with the Widowmine support, he's got to be very careful here. But the Banelings can do a great job against the Hydralisk if they get on top of him, and they definitely do.
The slow Banelings still able to connect because of that creep, actually. So the creep actually working against Huang Po's Hydralisk there, unfortunately. And now the Mutalisks are coming in to sort of clean up some of the Queens and Hydralisks as well. The army supply is starting to get dangerously low for Washington here. You see Irvine just playing a really phenomenal 2v2 game here.
Absolutely. This is non-stop aggression, keeping their tech going, increasing their macroeconomic presence in the game. I mean, those Mutalisks alone were pretty much the key to victory if they do manage to pull it off. But, I mean, they still are not out just yet. I mean, despite the fact that he hasn't got an economy going, they still have a chance. You never know what's going to happen to StarCraft, especially when you have a decent amount of static defense. But if they continue to let their opponents ravage them like this, it's going to be short order in no time.
You can see the parade push sort of coming across the map. Reinforcements from both players, actually. Lings and Bio just streaming across here. A nice force actually coming out from Washington here, but some Banelings morphing in, and you know, those will definitely be very helpful in dealing with the Hydralisk specifically.
Their best bet is to catch the red army split up, and you know, the way that they're rallying here to this one focal point, though, it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. The Mutalisks are actually driving the army of the blue players back into the main base while the massive army actually moves forward. But the Terran player's a little bit caught off guard here. Is Monkey Saga doesn't have the support of his Zerg brethren in this situation, but
yep, it's backing up now. Here come the Lings. These are going to be very helpful, of course, just with dealing with everything. A nice surround on a group of Hydralisks there. The Banelings do end up connecting with some of the Hydralisks as well. Most of the Lings getting cleaned up, but now with Bio and Mutalisks left over, it looks like some of the last forces of Washington going to get cleaned up, and that is going to be it. GG. And, Doom, you know what? That was... I'm going to say it right now, that was the most entertaining 2v2 I've ever seen in the CSL.
Hey man, I'm glad to be a part of it then. That was pretty sick, and you know, that's what happens when you get TVZ in 2 vs 2, mass aggression, you know, mass Widowmines, Bio, Lings running around. Very fun time.
It was awesome, man. And the early game control and patience from both players, you know, to hold on to that hatchery the way they did, and for UC Irvine to pull back the way they did, it was just great. It was just such great play. The best 2v2 I think I've seen in the CSL, at least in my recent memory. So that is going to be a well-deserved win for UC Irvine. And they are up 2-1, man. Washington is at risk of getting knocked out once again.
They're on the ropes for sure. So guys, we'll be back with the fourth match in this series. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.